Now I know a lot of y'all are probably thinking all Matt has been tying lately are simple, easy patterns. And that's partly true because really this fall, that's about all I've been fishing. And I've got another one for you tonight. It's a very generic mayfly pattern because I needed something pretty small. The last couple of trips to the Savage, the bugs have been really small, so I tied up a bunch of these little mayflies in a size 18. Now they are pretty generic. The one I'm about to tie is probably a sulfur because it's got a yellow body with a light colored hackle. But one thing I do with flies like this, either in an 18 or 20, I don't necessarily tie a wing, but I do often put just some kind of white Antron or Zelon as a post. Even though I'm not tying it as a parachute, I will put that little bit of white just poking up right through the top of the hackle, because you'd really be surprised at how little of that it takes to really help you see the fly. Because if you're like me and you're getting old, maybe you wear glasses, or you're fishing at dusk, that little bit of extra visibility can really help you fish this thing. So again, this is another quick tie. The tying part of this video is probably 3 minutes because I've got 3 or so minutes after the tie of me fishing this exact pattern on the Savage River last weekend. So make sure you stick around and watch that one. So there it is in the vise, just a fairly generic mayfly with a little bit of white synthetic up there for an indicator. Now, I suppose this one is probably a sulfur, but you can make it in pretty much anything you want. I'm tying it small. It's a size 18, standard length barbless dry fly hook. Now, you want to be careful. You got to make sure you get enough purchase in here, or it'll slip out and the hook will fly across the room. And I have unfortunately done that twice tonight. I am stepping my thread down. This is a 50 denier, white GSP. Very slippery stuff, so just take your time, make sure you get it caught on. Might take several wraps here to catch it in. Okay, I think we're fine right there. And first thing I'm going to catch in, 10 or so fibers from the same hackle that I'm going to wrap as a collar. And we'll catch this in, you can make it long if you want. I'd say at least a body length. I might be going 1.5 times the body length right here, because it's such a small fly that you can get away with this. Okay, so after you catch this in, don't take your thread up yet because we need to snip this so it doesn't get in the way of tying this post. Now the post is completely optional, but I am getting kind of old, and you'd be surprised at just how little bit of white, it doesn't take much, can really help you see the fly. So I'm going to catch it in. This is going to be more than I need right here. We'll trim it before we go on to the next step. But okay, let's trim the back first. Don't want to snip those barbs, so just try to get in there like that. Okay, I got a little bit of fuzz sticking back, but it's going to be fine. Now what I'll do, I'm going to put a few wraps around this, almost like I was tying it as a parachute. Though I'm not, this is really just to hold it together. Okay, now let's get our thread toward the back. And that is too long. You want to be careful. You don't want it too long because it might make the fly top heavy. It probably won't, but either way, just cut it a little bit shorter, maybe to where you think the top of your hackle is going to be. Now let's put a little wax on this thread, and then we're going to dub it. And I'm dubbing this one with yellow because it is kind of a sulfur. You could probably skip the dubbing on anything in 18 or 20 and just make your body out of thread. It's not really going to make the fly too heavy, but putting 1.5 inches of a dubbing noodle here doesn't take that long, and it does give you a little bit prettier of a body. So let's just go ahead and wrap this up. Okay, I think that's going to be fine. Now I'm going to use, this is a barred ginger, but anything light, cream, white even would probably be fine for this fly. I've also tied a few of these tonight in a dun color for just another standard generic mayfly that I use a lot of. So let's get that caught in, snip this little excess right here. And with small flies like this, I try to avoid making extra effort not to get too close to my eye. So if I can get a good 2 wraps behind this post, and then 2, maybe 3 in front of it. I think we'll have a good, you know, decent floatable dry fly here. Okay, that is caught off, and that's going to be plenty of hackle. So before I snip that, I'm just going to try to pull everything back. It's going to be tough because it's a tiny hook and my fingers are kind of fat. So we'll just do the best we can right here. Try not to trap too many of these fibers going forward. If you do, you're going to be okay. Just, you know, try to avoid getting too close to that eye. I think we got enough room here for a 4-turn whip finish. And now we snip this little excess piece right here. And there we go. This one's not perfect. It's a little bit shaggy, but it's still gonna fish and it's going in my box. So that's it, my friends. I appreciate you watching. Stick around a few minutes if you want to see me fishing this thing last week on the Savage River. All right, welcome back to the Savage. It is a weeknight, about 6 p.m., so I got about a half an hour before sunset. I'm between the footbridges, got this big deep pool behind me. I'm starting to see a couple of fish rising. Let's see if we can't get them to come up for one of these tiny little yellow mayflies. There's one. Ooh, nice fish. Nice fish. Gentle take. Just came up for it. All right, he's upstream of me. Come on up there, buddy. In the net. All right. Quick look for the camera. All right, solid little brown. All right, get on back in there, buddy. So this little pool right here, it can be pretty deep, and from everything that I can tell, just to the left of this rock ledge is really deep. So are any fish going to come up for a dry fly? Well, they might if they're feeding on the surface, if there's anything hatching. Not seeing anything hatching, but I have seen a couple rises. So let's go out here and see if we can't get them to come up for it. There's one. Ooh, nice fish. Look at that. Holy smokes. Oh, slack is coming right at me. And a jumper. Oh my goodness. All right. Wow. Look at that guy. That guy was quite a fighter. He's about 13 or so. Nice little fish. Get on back in there, buddy. A little tougher over here to the left because the water is not moving very fast. So you have to get just a perfect drift and, you know, hope you put it in front of a fish where one happens to be. There's one. Look at that. Oh, nice fish too. Oh yeah, he's solid. So I just happened to put it right in front of where he might be with a decent drift. All right, let's net this guy. All right, he's not huge, not as big as the last couple, but still felt pretty good. Barbless hook came right out of him. Pretty little wild brown. Get on back in there, buddy.